Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny UK channel. My name's Ali, or Frugal Granny. I'm 64 and a half years old and I'm in the run-up to a rather unexpected early retirement. I've got 2 more months until I retire, and these videos are documenting how I am planning to make that leap and how I actually manage to survive once I'm on a severely reduced income. In my last financial related income, I was talking about sinking funds, and I described to you the sinking funds that I have for various different things, like utilities, firewood, vet bills, car bills, annual expenses, renovation fund, etc. If you're interested in how I subdivide my current office income into those sinking funds, go back and look at my previous video. It will be 2 videos ago. Yesterday's was a quick garden tour, but we're back onto financial topics now. And what I want to do in response to some of the questions in the comments is just drill down into some of those sinking funds so you know what they're actually allocated to. I've had some people saying to me, don't you pay a mortgage? Don't you pay council tax? What about your energy bills? I'll try and explain it all now. So basically, and I've done this yesterday when I got paid for my office job on the 30th. Yesterday was the 2nd. I was a bit busy on Friday, so I left the allocations until late yesterday afternoon. And the first thing I always do is move £400 into my savings account. Now usually that is my savings, but as I explained in the previous video, I've got one more renovation project left on my house, and at the moment that savings money is going towards paying off or saving up so that I can pay the contractor at the end of June. The second thing I do is transfer £500 into what I would call my utilities account. It's a type of sinking fund, but it's not a saver account, it's a current account. And that's with a different bank. And that's the one I want to talk about today because that's the one that's raised the most questions. So for years now, I have moved £500 into that account. And the main reason it's that amount of money is because that account has a condition on it that you have to put a minimum of £500 a month into it in order to get the higher interest rate on your balance, to get any cashback offers, to be eligible for any premium savings accounts that that bank offers. So I've been putting £500 into that bank account for as long as I can remember. Even when I was still married, I was operating that system. And that £500 goes towards my utility bills. So if you just excuse me sort of looking off to the side every now and then, I just need to refer to the spreadsheet on my laptop and I will explain to you what the money goes on. Well, this month the top line is my council tax. At the moment that is I think £132 a month. I live in a larger than usual terrace house in quite a nice suburb, and I expect the amount of money that I'm paying for council tax reflects that. What you might not realise is my son who lives with me, my adult son, he is a mature university student. So at the moment, he is not eligible to pay council tax. So I'm effectively, for council tax purposes, a single person. So I'm getting 25% discount on my council tax, which means that at the moment I am paying £132 a month. That's gone up since the last tax year when I was paying 126 a month, so it's gone up £6 a month. I have notified the council that my son will be finishing his course at the end of May, and after that I will be billed the full council tax, which according to my calculations, if I deduct two reduced amounts off the full amount and divide the rest by 10, I think I'm going to be paying about £176.60 a month council tax. Now, before you all throw your hands up in horror, my son has got a job to go to when he graduates, and he will be paying the balance. So the extra £34, or is it £44, will be coming from him once he starts getting his first paycheck. So I'm not too worried about that, but yeah, it's a lot of money, £176.60 a month for the full council tax. The second thing I pay is water rates. That's done by direct debit, as is the council tax. In the last tax year, I was paying £32 a month, which I think's really reasonable. I have a water meter, which I wasn't happy to have installed, but I was persuaded to give it a go. And if I didn't like it, after 2 years, I could ask them to turn it off. Well, after 2 years, I was actually saving 50% on what I was paying without a water meter, so I decided to keep it. Now, what has happened in the last quarter is slightly unusual and rather unfortunate. Some of you who've listened to my previous videos will remember that I had a second pug, an older pug, who had a spinal column degenerative disease, and she became doubly incontinent and paraplegic. So between Christmas and the middle of March, I was doing an increased amount of laundry. Some days the washing machine would be on 4 times a day. It was a lot of washing. I was bathing the dog twice a day, showering her in the bath on a rubber mat, toweling her down, drying her. And I just thought, well, I love her, she deserves the best, I'm just going to do this for as long as needs be. Well, I don't know whether the water company decided to do an automatic reading. They do it by remote reading. And because of the increased water consumption, they thought my water meter was broken. So they came along without me knowing and changed the water meter, and then increased my yearly charge to match the usage in that quarter, and obviously then divided it by 10 and upped my direct debit. So instead of paying £32, I'm now paying £58 because of that short period in which my water consumption was increased. Now, I've spoken to them, and to be honest with you, they have the loveliest customer service department I've ever encountered. I've never worried about ringing that particular water company. And the lady was really good when I explained to her about what had happened, and she said, well, when it gets to the 5th of July, I think that must be their quarterly reading date or something, she said, go out onto the pavement, lift up the little hatch, take a photograph of the meter reading, ring us, and we'll compare it with what we think it should be, and if it's significantly less, we'll adjust your annual rate accordingly. So I was thrilled about that, and so at the moment it's sort of like game on with saving water, because the more I can save before June the 5th, the less my monthly direct debit is going to be. And those of you who follow me on Instagram will know that I went to B&Q and bought buckets, and I'm like flushing the loo with my bath water to try and reduce the amount that's being used, just so I can get my water bill back down to about £32. 58 is ridiculous, it's nearly double, but it was because of the dog. Then I pay for gas and electricity. In the last tax year, that was £144 a month. Then rather stupidly, I think it was in February, I submitted January's readings again by accident. So it looked like I hadn't used any electricity and gas that month, which rather threw the system. It did an automatic recalculation and reduced my direct debit to £125 a month. I had to ring them up and get this all sorted out, resubmit the right readings, but the direct debit stuck at 125. And because of your questions in the comments, I actually had a look at that direct debit over the last few days, and they've got a sort of tracker on the energy company website that shows you the minimum you need to be paying every month so as not to go into deficit over the course of the year. And I was actually significantly down on that because of this misreading that I'd submitted. So as of June, I've had to put the direct debit up, so that will be 160 a month. Then my internet connection is £46.99. I do not have cable TV. That is purely for the internet. I don't have a landline. I just have internet, and on that, for television, we watch Netflix, we watch Amazon. I think my son occasionally subscribes to one of the other channels if there's something he wants to watch. To be honest with you, I'm seriously considering cancelling Amazon Prime because I never watch it. And I spoke to him the other night and he said he'd got his own subscription. So that's another that's £8.99 that comes off a different account that I could probably save. Then my personal mobile phone costs £18 a month, including the insurance. I get a really good deal through my supermarket. It's unlimited texts, unlimited minutes, unlimited data, a really nice phone. And so I think £18 a month, including insurance, is a really good deal. So I'm really happy with that. And then I pay £17 a month medical subscription to a private dentist. I know that seems very, very extravagant. I thought I would give it a go. I've been with this dentist for 9 or 10 years, and because of the economy, he's gone private and gave people the option to stay as NHS patients or to go private. So I said, well, I would go private, and that's £17 a month. And to be honest with you, I'm absolutely thrilled. I get treated like a princess when I go there. It's amazing, and it's worth the money. I get a fantastic dental treatment, and you know, the whole level of service has just gone up a notch. So if I can keep doing that, I will. Then the account fee on that account is £4. So that's what comes out of that main utilities sinking fund account. I put £400 in, and this month the total utility bill spend will be 407 rounded up. Next month it's probably going to be about 436 rounded up because of the adjustment in the energy. And then in June, because of the adjustment in the council tax, it's going to be £480.50. So although the balance is getting less as months go by, there is a little bit of a balance every month from the £500 that I pay in, and I leave that there so that it builds up a buffer. And my aim always has been to try and keep a 3-month buffer in that account, so 1,500. At the moment, looking at my spreadsheet, I have got £1,000 in that account, so a 2-month buffer at the moment. And because the balance between the outgoing and the ingoing is decreasing due to price rises, I am not likely to reach my aim of having £1,500 in that account for another year. So but you know, little by little it will build up. So that is my utilities sinking fund, which is a current account. It also does cashback on utilities direct debits, so I get 3% back on water, 2% back on gas and electricity, and 1% back on mobile, broadband and anything communications related. So this month, last month, sorry, April, the cashback was £6.24. So if you take the account fee into consideration, I've saved £2.24 by using that account. It's not a lot, and as I mentioned in the sinking fund video, when I first opened this account I was getting up to £64 a month cash back because of the mortgage we had with that bank, obviously because the utility bills were higher. There were 6 of us living in a large house, and what I have said to myself that I will maintain this account just for practicality's sake until it gets to the point where the cashback is not cancelling out the account fee. And once that cashback is less than the account fee, then I probably will think seriously about transferring this account to another bank, not with the banking group that my main bank is with, because as I said before, I like to keep things in different baskets just in case. So that's the utilities account. Keeping an eye on the time, and we've already been talking for about 16 minutes, which I think is probably quite long enough, so maybe we'll talk about the other sinking funds in a different video. But I just wanted to reassure you, yes, I do pay council tax, yes, I've got water rates, I have an energy bill, I have an internet bill, I have a mobile phone bill, and I pay for my private dental treatment subscription out of this account. The other big question, quickly, before we really go over time, is do I have a mortgage? And the answer to that is no, I don't. I own my house outright, and we'll talk about that in another video, because that is a story and a journey in itself, and I'd like to be able to do justice to that. But no, I don't have a mortgage, and that was a major aim in my retirement planning strategy about 10-11 years ago. So if I'm 64 now, yeah, 52, 53, I sort of made a big decision to get rid of that mortgage, and thankfully it worked out. But I'll tell that story in another video. So there you go. Drilling deeper into the utilities current account sinking fund, that's how that works. All of those things that go out are automated direct debits, so all I have to remember, actually I don't even have to remember to move the £500 in, because I've got that set up as a standing order. So as long as I keep an eye every month on whether they've gone out or not, whether the bills are going up or down, whether I've got enough money to cover them, that's all looks after itself. So anyway, I hope that answers some questions. We'll talk about the other sinking funds in another video, and maybe before too much time goes by, I'll have a look at how I spent my discretionary spending in April, because again, that's a story in itself, and it's probably never going to happen again quite like that. Anyway, so thank you for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you again on the next one. Thank you for popping by. Bye bye now.